All right, is it working? It is working! Woohoo! My name is Frank Lavinia, and I would like to welcome you to another live feed that I'm doing on LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and yeah, that's about all the platforms. I had an early day today. I delivered an engagement on kind of Azure and how it compares to AWS. So, whew, what a morning it has been. But that doesn't mean we can't still have impact. Welcome to High Impact Logical Tuesday. All right, welcome to the stream. Just want to point out a couple things that I think are going to have a huge impact on our world, our lives, our livelihood, and more. So here I have a couple of recent blog posts on franksworld.com. A particularly intriguing bit right here is this post on basically mind reading for text communication. Can you imagine? I think it would be it would be interesting to kind of deliver text and text messages and stuff like that. Although I think as useful as that might be while you're driving, the creepiness factor, the cool. A really great tutorial here. Sorry, I think I might have cut my audio here on Mechanical Soup and how to do better web scraping in Python. So for those of you who don't know, I have written a number of screen scraping utilities through the years. Most recently, my work on basically building a screen scraping utility kit for Windows, the Windows runtime. And so I built a number of applications that were, shall we say, knockoffs of the official Android and iOS versions because, well, nobody was making Windows Phone apps. Although that should have been my first clue to maybe there was trouble in the Happy Kingdom. However, one of the things I thought about porting my libraries over to Python, but honestly, Mechanical Soup and Beautiful Soup I've used. Mechanical Soup I've not used yet. But she gets a really good tutorial on how to do this. Really appreciate that. Another thing that's of interest is Databricks is now on Google Cloud. Can you believe it? So isn't that something? So yeah, so if you run Databricks, you can run Databricks on Azure, you can run Databricks on AWS and on GCP. So that is impressive. Another thing I want to point out is an awesome video that's going on now, at least as of 10 minutes ago, this was still going on. It was basically a session on sharpening your cloud administration tools. A lot of good information on security, on governance, as well as kind of data. Anna Hoffman is the host of it, and they have had a number of speakers on so far. Highly recommend you check it out. All these links I'm sharing with you right now are on franksworld.com. I actually queued up a bunch of blog posts for tomorrow too. Here's a really cool video on how this guy hacked his own car, how and why. Very fascinating. Here's a good talk on on principal component analysis, which is really a workhorse algorithm in the fields of stats and data science. And Anastasia has another awesome video. Apparently, YouTube now has this thing where they're kind of like TikTok stories. In fact, I think a lot of them are TikTok stories being reused. She did a TikTok story / YouTube story on how to break RSA encryption with 10 lines of Python code. Although I think strictly speaking, it's Qiskit, but Anastasia comes up with good stuff, and the constraints that you have on a TikTok video are nothing to sneeze at. So to kind of tackle that. In terms of this here, Up and Atom has a great video on the physics of randomness, kind of the true nature of what exactly is random. And that's it for kind of the blog and what's going on in terms of impact there. But the whole, this really shocked me, was Databricks now being available on Google Cloud. I mean, I'm not surprised. It was inevitable, but this is an interesting development indeed, is it not? So I hope you're having a great day. I think there's going to be a storm here in the Northeast again, another snowstorm. We're slated to get, I think, like 6 inches. So make sure you have your milk, bread, toilet paper, shovels, and salt. All of those things that you need. Highly recommend all of these videos. That's why I blog them. What else is going on? Had a great conversation today. Had a great conversation yesterday on quantum computing with a customer. My very first consult with a customer who is actually using the quantum developer kit and is actually running out of basically options in terms of what their ability to simulate qubits locally are. So that was an exciting thing, because when I took this job a year ago, I was just all hyped up about quantum computing, because remember, in November of 2019, I had seen the quantum light, spent a month or two kind of reading up on it. And then in this interview, which was for my current role at the Microsoft MTC, I had said quantum's going to be a big deal. Quantum's going to be a big deal. And everybody was like, yeah, that's good. You're staying ahead, but I don't think it's going to be an issue anytime soon. And I was like, mark my words, within 1 year, we will have a customer come to us and request quantum expertise. And last week that happened. So I was out of my gourd. Don't want to talk too much about the customer or what they're doing, but I did learn something that I didn't think was really a thing, that apparently Hamiltonians matter. And I'm not talking about the guy who wore tights and is on the $10 bill. I'm talking, of course, this is the subject of a major Broadway play. Hamiltonians have to do with the energy in the system. And I would be lying if I said I fully understood it. But I assumed, apparently wrongly, that didn't really matter. I mean, the amount of energy in the system, it's the amount of energy in the system, right? And that entropy or chaos or randomness was really largely fixed, right? Whether you were dealing with a high energy system or a low energy system. Now, obviously, there's more, but I mean, I thought of it as kind of, it didn't really matter in terms of what you're measuring. If you're measuring randomness, right? Like, one thing is going to be about as random as lots of things at the fine grain level. Apparently that's not the case. And I don't want to get into kind of it, but apparently that's not the case. And it was one of those conversations where I walked away learning something. I'm like, and I said to the customer, I was like, yeah, I have to reread that chapter on the Hamiltonians, because this is not something I expected. I basically kind of thought of it as like a power supply in a PC, right? You have voltage, or that's it, right? It just provides power for it. But Hamiltonians apparently can radically alter the state of a system, which I guess now, as I say it that way, that kind of makes sense. But a lot of things with quantum computing, the first time you read it, it's like, what? And then you read it a second time and you're like, okay, I think I understand it. And the fourth or fifth time, you're like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. Quantum computing, learning quantum computing is an exercise in perseverance. I've reread the same page, reread the same chapter a couple of times, and I'll be out walking the dogs or in the shower or driving, and it's like, then it clicks. That's why that's the case. And honestly, if you want quantum computing resources, a couple of good posts coming live tomorrow. But if you go to franksworld.com/quantum computing, I think it is, or just click on the quantum computing link on any page, you will see the category page. A lot of good stuff coming tomorrow. I think I have 2 posts as queued for tomorrow. A live session by IBM Research, and they got some interesting stuff going on. But honestly, the so far for me, the talk that's resonated the most is the quantum computing for computer scientists. This is the one that's resonated the most, because it kind of makes sense. It covers a lot of the stuff that you would cover in college for comp sci about state machines and kind of the computational theory. Don't worry if you haven't touched that in, I don't want to say how long, but let's just say Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, and Kurt Cobain were all still alive, still on our airwaves, still delivering concerts. Uh, um, when I was doing that, so it took me a little while to like remember like this, what a state machine is and what um, this means. But once I kind of got it, I was like, it makes sense now. It makes a lot more sense from a computational point of view, not necessarily from a quantum physics point of view, but a computational point of view, which I foresee my career going into the creating quantum algorithms type space, not necessarily building out quantum hardware or needing to fully understand all of quantum physics, because as I've heard, no one really fully grasps quantum physics. Uh, and what's interesting is that the guy kind of talks about, these analogies that people have come up with to explain quantum computers, how they're largely inadequate, but the math works out. And I was like, I don't know, got to be a way to kind of understand it, but then the math works out. The analogies will only take you so far and will sometimes lead you astray, and no one analogy can kind of encompass it. But if you look at the math, oddly enough, the math always lines up, even though at some level in kind of our primate brain head, it shouldn't, but it does. And I think that speaks very much to the beauty of mathematics. And with that, um, I will wish you a great day. It's been a couple days since I streamed. It's always hard when there's a holiday weekend, and I think did I stream Saturday? I don't remember. Yes, I did stream on Saturday, but not yesterday. Was a fully booked day, and actually it was double booked yesterday, and then today was kind of a early morning rise and shine because I had some folks on the other side of the planet that I was presenting to, which I think is a unique aspect to the pandemic. Microsoft Technology Centers, MTCs, there's 40 of us around the world, 40 or so. And usually the folks who were in, say, India or Dubai, they would go to the India or Dubai one or fly to the US and attend, the one I work at in Reston. Now virtual doesn't matter. It's fascinating how it works. So if you don't know what the MTC is a Microsoft Technology Center, which means when I call it the Microsoft MTC, that I'm saying Microsoft Technology Center. Double the Microsoft. Microsoft's so nice, I had to say it twice. There I am with my dad jokes. But basically, we are kind of we offer a service to our enterprise customers for free, no extra cost. And you can come in, address your challenges technically, come up with ideation, do strategy briefings, like where are we headed? What's our roadmap? And to really enable our customers to make good informed decisions and kind of work out their problems that they can't necessarily do with a regular account and sales team. So normally we have people come to the office, our office, and kind of we sit in this environment that's really gauged for brainstorming and kind of open discussion and, work out the problems. Now we do it virtually because, well, the pandemic. And it's been really interesting because all I've known of this role has been virtual and remote. And, I've said to my manager that, because I do these live streams, they make me better at presenting remotely. In fact, there's actually a really good tutorial by Scott Hanselman about how to make your live remote PowerPoint presentations really pop out, and by using OBS and stuff like that. So look for that. Look for that to appear either here on this live stream or in Andy and I's secret project, which is just that much closer to launching. So with that, you have a great day, and I will catch you tomorrow.